Hey everyone, it's Chris and welcome back to the Ridge. Well, spring is upon us and it's one of our most favorite times of the year where SweetMapleRidge literally comes alive. So today we're going to do a pretty unique video. We're going to go for a walk in the woods and we're going to try to find some ramps. We're going to try to find some stinging nettle. And we're just going to show you literally how the Ridge has come alive here. Stick around while we do that. It's going to be exciting. Join us.
SweetMapleRidge Farms. Come on down, everybody. Go!
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. So here we will start here in our yard. This is an antique cherry. We got this from Stark Brothers a couple years back. It's looking really good. No blooms, but that's all right. You can see just all these dandelions. And you know, dandelions, the entire plant is edible. From the roots, to the leaves, to the flowers, the stems, everything. The whole thing is edible. Last year we made dandelion wine, and it turned out pretty good. Just a really cool plant. And it's so funny, not funny, but it's wild that people actively try to get rid of these. These are literal food. The dandelion leaf is some of the most nutritious stuff you can put in a salad. You can eat it raw. It's just wild how society is, like said, you have to have a nice green yard. You have to have all this stuff. When literally you're killing food. This is actual food here. Here's more. These leaves are just they're really good for you. This is a Montmorency. You can see he's covered in blooms. And there's a ladybug right there. Kind of cool. We have tons of ladybugs around here. I don't know if you all do, but we do. This is a Van Sweet. Just has a couple blooms at the bottom. Van Sweet cherry. And then this is a Sam Sweet cherry. He got tore up a little bit from the deer before we had these cages around them. Over there we have 2 peach trees. Those are the Old Annapolis Bugs variety. They're the most delicious peaches. Oh my gosh. This is a Stamen wine sap, or wine sap stamen. I forget which order. Tons of blooms. I'm going to show you these apple trees just because I can't not show them to you because I'm so impressed by them. But once we get done this, we're going to go for a walk in the woods and we're going to find some really, really cool stuff. This is a Shenango strawberry apple tree. Shenango strawberry apple. We planted all these trees in the fall of 2022. And we actually did get 1 apple off of him last year. The only tree that produced an apple, and it was him. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. You might be able to hear my voice. This is a Golden Delicious here. Couple blooms on them, just over here towards the top. But The one with the most blooms is definitely this one. This is a pink lady. This is definitely the tallest one. This is a Granny Smith. We're definitely gonna have to support him. I mean, tons and tons of blooms. All right, and then this is a Whitney crabapple. We're gonna make cider, and a really good part of cider is really good addition, rather, is crabapple. I just can't believe these flowers. Let's take you over the garden here. We'll show you a couple things we got growing on here. All right, we're here in our garden right now, and it is pretty ugly in here. But that's okay, because here in a couple weeks, it's going to look completely different. It's going to be amazing, but I just want to show you a couple things. So this is garlic that Mrs. SweetMapleRidge has planted, and I think it's been going for quite some time. She planted it last, I don't know, sometime in the winter, and it's going really good. And then here recently, she just planted some more onions, yellow and red. We have these little gnomes here. I don't know why, but I like them. We got some asparagus, brand new asparagus bed. You might remember last year, this was all strawberries. We replanted the strawberries into a brand new bed that I will walk over and show you. So that's going to be our asparagus bed there. Tons of grapes. See, the grapes are starting to come alive here. That's Candace. And a couple other varieties here too. And this whole thing will just get covered. We got some manure here. We got from Apple Rock Farm. Thank you, sir. Got to spread that in. Got some topsoil. And we're going to be working all this in. All this stuff, we use, we're going to get all this cleaned up, but we use all this to keep the weeds out over the winter. So we're going to get all that cleaned up, but it's going to look good. Here's going to be some more tomato beds here. We got all that rich manure put in here, but let me walk you over to our strawberry bed. We just put this in. All right, so you're not going to be able to see them probably, but we have a couple strawberry roots planted in here. For example, here's one. That is Hanoi. I think you pronounce it that way. Honeyooye or something like that. We have 6 or 8 of them planted here. And then over here, I picked up or transplanted our best strawberries from over there. And these are just like your standard burpee strawberry. I don't know what variety they are, but they are an all year long thing. Blooms on them. They look really good. We were just going to get rid of these and plant the June-bearing ones, the Hanois. But I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of them. They literally produce food. So You know, I'm not going to do that. I had a lot more of them. Let me walk you over to where I planted the rest of them, and let's see if they are there. Planted them over here on this hill. We have this compost pit. Hasn't gone too good so far, but we're not giving up. We keep turning it. We keep doing what we need to do. Put some grass in there. If we're doing something wrong, put it down in the comments what you recommend that we do. But we do turn it and all that. Well, let me show you where I planted the rest of the strawberries. They're all right here. I'm surprised the deer haven't taken them out completely. I did put a little piece of wire here, but that's not going to do much for these. But I planted them all here on this hillside. But look, they are flowering. We'll see what happens. Planted a couple more over here. They look good. They're probably not going to last too long unless I cover them up. Here's some mayapple coming up. Here's lots more mayapple. It's sort of just growing all in here. But mayapple, all parts of mayapple, if you don't know, are poisonous. The leaves, the stems, the roots, they contain a toxin called podophyllitoxin. Who knew? However, the fruit of the mayapple is actually the only edible part of the plant. It is considered edible, but per Google, it should be consumed in moderation, as it can have a laxative effect. We don't want that. But anyway, the fruit is edible, and it's been used apparently by Native Americans for food and medicinal purposes. And it has a very unique looking fruit. I've personally never seen the fruit before. If you've ever messed with the fruit or seen the fruit, put that down in the comments. I'd like to know more about that. But anyway, we have mayapple growing all over, and they say if you have mayapple growing, you might also have murels. That murels like to grow where mayapple does. I've never personally found that to be true, but let us know if you have. All right, so we're going to walk down to the spring here and see what's going on down there. While we're walking down here, let's see this. Got these little violets. I looked it up, and it's called a halberd leaf yellow violet. They're just kind of growing here. It's kind of neat. We use the Picture This app to find what various plants are. If you've ever used Picture This, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's an incredible, it's almost life-changing to have that app. You can literally look up any plant and it'll tell you exactly what it is. But anyway, we're going to walk down here. We're going to walk down here to this spring and see what's going on down there. I want to point out one thing that we're here at the spring. I want to point out one thing, though. You see these? A lot of people, these are ferns. These are the beginning of a Christmas fern. But a lot of people call these fiddleheads, and I guess you could say they are fiddleheads, but so you can see over here where they're turning into ferns. But fiddleheads are a delicacy, but the thing is, it's only a certain type of fern, fiddlehead, that is edible, and a Christmas fern that grows around here is not one of them. So you wouldn't eat this one anyway because you want to get them as soon as they come up out of the ground. But this is not the edible type. The only edible type, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is the type that is from like the Pacific Northwest, not these. I want to show you one of the many springs on our property here. It's not a lot of water, but there are several right around here. And maybe half a gallon a minute or something like that. Maybe less. But I've tested this water with a test kit that I bought off of Amazon, and the water is perfect. It's perfectly drinkable. And it comes right out of the hillside here at our property in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm sure if you were to look up underneath of there, you'd probably see some salamanders, stuff like that. But it's perfectly drinkable. If you're ever out looking for property or looking for a homestead, one of the biggest things that you could have is a spring on your property. Let me show you another one. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Okay, guys. Okay, so you may remember our spring video. I made a video a couple years back. It was actually the first YouTube video that I ever put out, and I couldn't believe it because normally your first video is the worst video, and I'm not going to say it was good because I don't think it was good, but it did. It took about a year, but it got a lot of views and stuff. So I just want to show you what's left of that. What I put together does work, but the animals do root around and they'll destroy your stuff and all that. But let me show you. So here is water coming out of that spring. Animals tore it up. And then there's some water coming out from around it. I had this water tested as well, just because. And it's the most delicious water you'd ever drink. I think this moss is pretty happy, huh? Look at this. Just a whole carpet. That water just flows right out of here. Have more of that violet. There's a bee. All right, let's go see what we can find. Actually, I think right here, right there, some stinging nettle. Okay, so I just checked, and that is actually Canadian wood nettle. Apparently that is not edible, but that's just something to keep in mind. I just love this water coming out of here. Okay guys, we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna try to find the ramps. I know there's some around here. We're gonna try to find our ramps. And let's try to find some stinging nettle. Here's a tree we'll have to cut down. It's a nice cherry tree that fell. Split about, I don't know, a quarter of the way up, but sorry I'm winded from walking up that hill, but it's great firewood. We'll use it for the sugar shack this winter. Let's keep on walking. We're gonna go find some ramps. So guys, this is one of the seeps that we have here, and I know this looks gross, but there's a lot of stuff that lives in here. And there's a lot of animals that drink out of here. I want to show you something. Those are two salamanders right there. Mrs. SweetMapleRidge loves coming down here and look at all the stuff in here. But look at all the animal, deer, and all this stuff, guys. So if you have something like this on your property, when we first moved in here, I was gonna dig this out and get rid of it. I thought it was sort of like an eyesore, but no. Animals drink out of this. You might not, but animals do. And when it's dry out, this always has water in it. So when it's dry, animals rely on this for water. So if you have something like this on your property, just leave it alone. Because there's animals that rely on this for their survival. It's really, really cool. To some people, it might look like a mud pit. It might look ugly. This is a huge part of the ecosystem around here. And there's definitely a bee's nest over here. I'm glad I didn't walk over there. See if I can find it without getting too close. Yep, right there. See how they're all going into that hole? There's a bunch of them. They're digging in that mud. Bee's nest. Anybody knows what kind of bees they are, let me know. They look like honeybees, but I don't really know. Yellow jackets or something. But that's just an example. You gotta be careful where you walk. Bees can be up in the trees, and they can also be down in the dirt. Just be careful. I guess they're digging a hole, or maybe they're getting water. I don't know. I'm sure someone knows. Put it down in the comments. All right, let's go find the ramps. I keep saying we're gonna go find the ramps. I'll show you where they're at. This is one of my favorite parts of our property, walking through. We call this Rattlesnake Ridge, although we've never seen a rattlesnake down here. And you can see all the ribbons I have on the trees. These are all sugar maples. We haven't tapped them. But when we build the sugar shack, the new sugar shack, hopefully this year, God willing, fingers crossed. We might not be able to do that though, but we want to. We're gonna have all the sap run from here all the way down there. But I wanted to show you this. See, this used to be an old fence. Old fence row here. But this is a pretty steep drop off. This is what things are like here in the Appalachian Mountains. You know, you got flat, plateau kind of stuff, and then you have a pretty steep drop off. And this just keeps on dropping off until you get down to the bottom and there's a stream down there. I've never seen this rock outcropping before. This is kind of cool. Shagbark hickory here. We have a lot of these around here. But this rock thing is kind of neat. We know there's bobcat dens and bear dens, black bear dens around here. We know that because we've seen them on camera. We've put them on YouTube. You can go back and watch some of them. But they're around here somewhere. They live somewhere in here, you know, amongst all this. So it's just like a really cool part of the property. Try to get back up here without breaking my neck. But just, it's beautiful. And you know, in springtime here, a lot of the ground cover and stuff hasn't come out yet, so you can really get around easily. That brings up another good point, and that this is a really good time to find any property markers that you may not have been able to find, because once things get really thick, like once all this grows in, you're not going to be able to get around. But now's the time to go and find those property markers that maybe you haven't been able to find. No ramps here. We're going to check one other spot. All right, so here we are. And guess what these are? They stick out like a sore thumb. But these are ramps. Look how, look how pretty they are. And there's another patch of them up there too. Can maybe sort of see. We'll walk up there in a minute. But these things are a delicacy here in the Appalachian Mountains. I think people have been using these for quite a long time. Okay, so this is the ramp. It's also known by some as the wild leek. You'll know that they're true ramps. There's a false ramp that you don't want to eat, but these are true ramps. You know that because they have a reddish stem. These things grow in the Appalachian Mountains, however you want to say it. They grow in North Carolina, West Virginia, Western Maryland, PA, New York, up in Ontario and Quebec. They have a delicious onion and garlicky flavor. They are a member of the onion and garlic family. They can take like 7 years to mature, so they're pretty rare. So if you are lucky enough or fortunate enough to have these growing on your property, or you find some somewhere, you never want to take the bulb if you don't have to. If you were to dig this up, there's going to be a bulb like a scallion in there. You don't want to take that. If you do take the bulb, you only want to take like, for every 10 of these plants, you only want to take like one of them, because you don't want to risk damaging the plot of these plants, because they do take forever to grow and they're pretty rare. But what we do is we'll take scissors, and this is what we recommend you do too. Take scissors and take a couple leaves from each plant, like 1 or 2 leaves from each plant, from each stem, and you can chop that up and make ramp butter. So you just mix that, just chop these leaves up really finely. These leaves are edible. The entire plant is edible. Chop the leaves up very finely, and then mix it with some like Irish Gold butter or something like that. Put it in the refrigerator, and you have like a really delicious garlic butter. And these, they are just, oh my gosh, they taste so good. It's like the most delicious scallion or onion that you've ever ever had. So you'll know that it's a true ramp because they have a red stem. Let's go look at the other ones here. They look great. And then let's go check on these. Man, these look great. Finding ramps like this, having ramps on your property is just like a huge benefit. I can't tell you. I guess they're not that rare, but to me, they're just really something to keep around, you know. So we're gonna leave them alone. We might come back and take a couple leaves to make some garlic butter, but we're gonna leave these things because we want them to come back every year. We want this whole place to be filled with them. So, all right, let's go try to find some stinging nettle. This is one thing I want to show you. This is a wild pear tree. And the pears that come off of it are pretty small, about like that. They're sort of gnarly looking. But they are edible, and they're pretty good. And then there's another one over there. And then there's an actual pear tree up in here that has really, really white blooms on it. But I wanted to show y'all this spot. This is a spot that's special to Miss SweetMapleRidge and I. This is the spot where I asked Mrs. SweetMapleRidge to marry me. And surprisingly, she said yes. I'll have to tell you that story one day. But anyway, this is where all that went down. And this is a gift we got from my mother-in-law that we put here to sort of commemorate this. We want to make this sort of into a little bit nicer of a spot. But this is a pretty cool spot on our property. I wanted to show y'all. All right, we're pulling up to the future home of our new sugar shack. This is where we're gonna build it. This is at the bottom of our sugar bush. Our sugar bush is all up here and it will flow. Everything flows down here. Why these two posts are here, I have no idea. Probably part of an old, you know, this is all cattle fields way back in the day. And you can see there's some barbed wire here. But anyway, I've always loved this spot. I've always seen these posts here, and it's almost like it drew me to this area. It's relatively flat in here. It's pretty open. And so I don't really have to cut down any trees. I definitely don't want to cut down any trees. So I think we're going to put it right here. So I have this flag here. We're going to put it right in here. It's nice and open. So it's not going to, you know, dry out, won't be muddy. We're going to put it right here. We're going to have all the sap flow down here, right to this spot. There's a little stream down here. And I think this is going to be a perfect spot. It's going to be a perfect spot for it. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments, what challenges I might run into. I know there's a lot of rocks here, but I think this is the spot. I think this place is gonna serve us well. I just gotta convince Miss SweetMapleRidge to let me do it this year. If not, we'll do it in the years to come. But you can see there's fence posts all in here. kind of neat. So guys, I haven't been back here recently. The last time I was back here, when I found this, we made a short on it. But I wanted to come back and show you. But first, look at this moss. The moss is really dried out. And I think that's because we've had a couple pretty warm days here. And the forest canopy hasn't built in yet. And so it's unusually warm. And so all this stuff that's typically used to not having this warm weather until there's a nice leaf cover to protect it from the sun, you know, it's really dried it out. It'll be fine, it'll come back, but it's definitely not happy right now. You know, let's walk over here. See more of this stuff. Stuff's everywhere. More flowers. Look at that moss up here. All right, guys, it's so cool out here. I get distracted. Looks like it's a little bit on the drier side. Let's hope that we don't find anything crazy in here. Everything looks good. Hear the water coming out. Anybody knows what, I mean, obviously this is a spring. Obviously this is a spring house. But if anybody knows or has any historical information about why they may have done it this way or why they would have used this concrete culvert kind of thing as opposed to doing it a different way, let me know down in the comments what you think. But I always think this is a really cool part of our property. A part of me wants to come out here and dig it up and make it better, but another part of me just wants to kind of leave it alone because it's so neat. We're gonna leave it alone for now. I'm gonna put this back on there. Somebody, the previous owners definitely used to use it for something, but all right. Stinging nettle. I was thinking we might be able to find some down here, but I don't see any. All right, so here's some evidence as to what they might have been using this for. I found this pipe. We're only just a short distance from that spring house. So there's an old homestead down the way here that's still on our property, that came with our property. And I'm wondering if this black pipe connects that old homestead to this spring here. Maybe that's where they got their water from. I wanted to show you guys this spot We have a game camera on this one too. This is a really cool area to come down here. We have that Spartan camera there. This is a spot where all kinds of animals come to drink. You can see there's a trail that comes down here. They also come this way and from the opposite way. But we've had bears and bear cubs and deer and turkey and all kinds of stuff come out here and drink. Mrs. SweetMapleRidge loves to come down here and look at the frog eggs here. See when they hatch. There's a ton of them. They're all over in there. Pretty neat. As we have this multi-floral rose all over our property, you guys have that on your place? Put down in the comments what you found to be helpful with it. It's super invasive. We do anything to get rid of it. But this is a pretty cool spot here. I wanted to show you, we have these crab apples all down here in this spot we call the berry patch. I don't know why we call it that. There ain't no berries growing here. But these things are just loaded with crab apples. They will be anyway. But speaking of invasive species, let me show you something else that we have. I think this is called like Japanese barberry. Let me look it up real fast. Yeah, so this is Japanese barberry. People actually plant this in their gardens as like an ornamental plant. And it's growing all over the place around here. And you can see there's more of it right there. But it grows all over the place, and it's invasive also. But I wanted to point this stuff out also. So if you have this growing on your property, you know what we're talking about. And it's really hard to get rid of. This is autumn olive. It's super invasive. It's hard to kill. It does have little fruits that it does put off. From what I understand, don't take my word for it, do your own research, but it is non-toxic, the whole plant is. But it's really invasive, and we do everything we can to get rid of it, but I can't keep up with it. But we have a huge patch of it right here. What do you guys use to get rid of it? What have you found works? Let us know down in the comments. We have a huge thicket of it right here. Are there any benefits to it? I don't know, maybe let's do something fun. Put down in the comments all the reasons why I shouldn't get rid of it. Here's more Japanese barberry. It's super green, and I can see why people would like it. It has flowers. I don't know how it got here. This is called fan club moss. We have it grown in various spots on our property. Apparently it spreads through spores, but also has rhizomes that spread underneath the ground here. That's why it spreads so prolifically. Apparently it used to be, and some people still do use it for Christmas decorating. You can kind of lay it underneath your Christmas tree or make like a little, put on your mantle or something like that. I'm kind of scared to know what lives in there. This is an old logging trail. This is sort of a lesser known part of our property. It's so steep. Our property goes down that way. As you can see, it's pretty steep and rocky. We don't go down there too much. I've seen this grow a lot down here. And on our property, this is apparently called cutleaf toothwort. I don't know if it has any uses or anything, but it's kind of interesting. It's quiet. So this is one of our favorite spots on the property. This is what we call lower camp. We come down here every chance we get to hang out. We built a campfire, make hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. Come down here and sit. SweetMapleRidge. Get your stickers from stickermule.com/SweetMapleRidge. I made this table. And I got this. It's my favorite chair. I got this from Cabela's in Canada. And I love that thing. If you have one, put it down in the comments. Let me know what you think of it. I love it. I love sitting down here in that thing. So this is what we call lower camp here. Made these awesome stairs. You know who you are. We made those. Had a blast doing it. But this is what we call our lower field here. And it's getting greener and greener. There's a bunch of sugar maples down here. Here's more. These are actual apples, I believe. These aren't crab apples. These are actual apples. And they're pretty good. I don't know who planted them here. They must have planted this thing here, a long time ago. But this thing puts off a lot of apples. And they're good too. I should have said at the bottom of this ravine here, there's a pretty big river. I'm not going to tell you the name of it because it might give it away. Try to keep where we're at. Sort of on the down low. But big river down there. We're not going to give up though until we find some stinging nettle. I'll tell you what, I've never had a hard time finding a stinging nettle until today. So I'm actually trying to look for it. I've found it so many times. It'll get your legs pretty kind of burny. But let's check a couple other places. And guys, if you stuck around this far into the video, we know you're a loyal fan, a loyal supporter of our channel and of SweetMapleRidge and Mrs. SweetMapleRidge and I just want to take this time to just say thank you to everybody who has made this channel a success. I'm not really sure why anybody watches it, but we do love making the videos and just sharing what we have going on here on SweetMapleRidge with everybody. We just thank each and every one of our subscribers, whether you're here for gardening or you're here for homesteading or you're here for our other like tobacco videos or anything else, guys. We're just super thankful for each and every one of you. And we just, we know that our channel's success depends on you. So we just really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's something like 95% of people watching aren't subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button if you like this video. I know it might be kind of boring. It's just sort of me down here showing our favorite spots. I want to point out before I forget, this is a scarlet oak tree. This tree turns bright scarlet red in the fall. It is absolutely beautiful. This is my favorite tree on our whole entire property, which is why we put lower camp right here. But sorry, getting back to that. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. It really helps with our rankings and the algorithm and all that stuff, just to let us know you like what we're putting out. So let's go check one more spot and see if we can't find some stinging nettle. I want to point out, now we've never been down here, but I want to point out that if you look right through these trees, you can see what looks like a pond right there. Right there. That's a huge beaver pond. I haven't been down there, but I've been told it's one of the most spectacular places around here. I've been told by some who would definitely know that down there at those beaver ponds is the most beautiful spot in this county. Now again, I've never been down there, but I believe the person who said it. It's a really cool spot of our property that I like. this thicket of, these are hemlocks. Let me check. Okay, so yeah, these are eastern hemlock. We don't have a lot of these growing on our property, so where we do, I really like them. I like coming down here. There's a couple of them here. There's another big one right over there. I love hemlocks. They are really, really just pretty trees. And if you keep on going down there, that's how you get to that beaver pond down there. There's this cool rock outcropping. Want to be careful going around here because you don't know what might be hanging out, but look at that. Wonder what lives in there. I don't want to find out. There's another one over here. Pretty neat. You can see, taking my life into my own hands, showing you all this, but it's all good. Oh man. Definitely, if I was something, I would definitely be living in there. On that note, let's find another spot to check out. All right, guys, so I just want to take you to one other final spot here on our property walk today. This is the highest point here on our property. And that's a cow pasture over there. You have beef cattle. Look how bright green that grass is. I love this spot. It's always a little breezy. There are some just huge trees around here. Huge rocks. It's just absolutely beautiful. Just when you take the time to stop. But anyway, y'all, on that note, that's it. That's the video. If you want to be an OG mapler and want to continue learning how to rely less and create more from high atop the Allegheny Plateau, please like and subscribe. And guys, we'll see you next time out on the ridge. But guys, before we really go, maybe I'll do a little teaser on a video we might do in the future. This is here down in our lower field. But if there's a little trail that goes up that way, and you go that way about, 200 yards, and it's the most spectacular forest you've ever seen. maybe we'll show that to you on the next video. Yes, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time out here on the ridge.